This week I'll be repairing some vintage Japanese chisels, mainly this ferrule portion on the end. And yes, stay tuned till the end. I have some tips for how to get some of these of your own, and also how to chisel from somebody who's taken a decent amount of physics in their life. Hey, hello there. So a couple years ago, I bought a couple of these vintage Japanese chisels. They have a little maker's mark on them. I don't think they're all the same. Yeah, it's hard to tell. But I've been using them as is. A lot of the times this ferrule has been a little loose. But anyway, I've just been going for it. I've just been using them as is. I took a while, some time to sharpen them. So they're razor sharp. Just these ferrules have always been loose. So this winter, I've been cleaning up some stuff, fixing some tools, and I've been trying to fix these ferrules. Now, so what I've been doing is tapping them off because they've been super loose anyway. And then I've been taking a half round file and coming in here and cleaning up this inner part. I don't know if you can see, there's like a lip here that's not allowing this ferrule to kind of seat all the way down. So that's the first thing I've been doing. I've been coming here, filing this and getting it so that it's kind of one radius all the way through. The second thing, to fit them on, I've been taking one of the nice sharp chisels and I've been kind of shaving the chisel around in a circle until I was getting a nice fit of the ferrule to the handle, the oak handle. So then I take my hammer and set the ferrule down all the way around, and then I kind of mushroom over the wood part to get a pretty nice firm connection on there. So the point of the ferrule is that when you're striking the wood part, it keeps it from expanding and then ultimately splitting. So I don't know what I'm doing. That's the way that seemed correct to me. So that's just what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, hour or so. Then I get to this chisel. It's pretty big and beefy. Like I said, I've already cleaned up the tip. It's got this little hollow in it from, I think someone was grinding it with a wheel, but I've just been using flat whetstones. So I'm getting ready to cut off this ferrule that is loose and this wood that's all kind of like ratty. And then I noticed, you're not going to see this too much, there's little flats here along this edge. Yeah, it's like really hard to see on camera, but what it basically feels like is exactly what I've been doing to fix these. That means somebody has already fixed this. And not only that, they did the exact way that I was doing it. And it's a little bit of justification, like, hey, I kind of know what I'm doing occasionally, which is cool. But the thing that I really love is that someone else did this. Someone else sat in this chair, not this chair, probably a chair in Japan, and loved this tool enough to fix it before. I think it's amazing. I'm really kind of just sitting here and feeling like a connection to this person that may not be with us anymore, but they loved this bit of iron and oak, and they cared for it enough to where they fixed it. They cared for it enough to where they kept it sharp. Who knows what this thing made? Furniture, housing, a temple, you know, whatever. This was put to use well enough to where it needed to be repaired. and need to be modified, and it obviously need to be sharpened every time. So it just feels good to be part of this like strong lineage when it comes to these tools. That's nicer than buying a new tool. It would be easier to buy a new tool. Everything would probably fit nicer. But there's just something about this, about being part of a lineage of a tool. And really what I'm trying to do is just be another steward of it. You can sharpen this thing all the way back to here. So there's, I don't know, 200 years of life still left in this thing, which is awesome. So I'm going to fix this part. I'm going to clean up the rusty bits and refit it to the handle. And then I'm going to keep using it until I'm dead. And then somebody else is going to take it over, which is cool. So I'm going to get back to fixing it. I just wanted to say that. Alright, so right now I opened my jaws so the handle, the round handle will fit in there. And then I'm taking my clamp, just holding it still. And then I'm just cutting off all this kind of ratty wood. So this is what I'm talking about. See those little flats? Each time I turn it, you can see where the light kind of hits a flat spot. Yeah, I think it's just really cool. You can still see the carves of whoever did this the last time. Who knows how long ago. This is the ferrule. This one is pretty beat up. This is pretty rusty. Yeah, it's definitely seen some better days. Okay, so here's the old bits. You can see the carved flats, and then here's the new stuff that I've been carving. So it's also got the same pattern. I'm basically just going around and taking a hair off. I think I'm going to trim this a little bit before I mushroom it over. It's supposed to be like 1 to 2 millimeters above. This might be pushing like 4 or 5 mil. Alright, so this is also a vintage hammer that I got the hammer head and made a handle for it. I don't like the handle, I have to fix it. But it kind of has a flat side, which I've been using to set the ferrule. And it's got this side, which is slightly convex. And I think I'm going to use that to mushroom the wood part over. Yeah, let's get going. Alright, so that's a lot more sturdy. Feels real good. So there's one more down. I think I have 2 more to go to finish. All kind of 6 of them that I have. But yeah, that feels like good progress. So why all this matters? The purpose of a chisel is to focus all your energy into one single point. All the energy you swing with just a little mallet gets focused down into nanometers of cross-sectional area. So anytime you are disrupting that force transfer between, you're losing energy. This ferrule was too loose and there was too much wood on the outside, and then someone continued to use this for decades, smashing this wood into bits and robbing themselves of all this energy. So yeah, basically you want a solid distribution between here, between the wooden handle and between all the iron down back to the blade. The other thing you want to do to keep that from happening is to have a sturdy workbench. And so the sturdy workbench keeps it transferring all the way to the floor, all the way to the ground. And then to make sure that's really secure is having your piece clamps down. Anytime you hit this wood and it bounces, that's all robbing energy from the actual act of chiseling. So you want to have your piece clamped to your workbench, you want to have a sturdy workbench, and you want to have nothing in between your mallet and the actual working edge of the chisel. Now this is an old mallet that I have that is made of ash, and it has since kind of starting to fall apart. I really only use this face, I think, so I don't chisel with this because that would be another spot where force would be lost. So that's not something you want to do. Okay, so a vintage Japanese chisel, if you're getting kind of what you want to get, you want this kind of difference in metal between the back part and the edge. So the edge is made of an extremely hard but brittle metal, whereas the rest of the piece is made with a softer metal. And you want to make sure that if you have this difference in the layers of the metal, then you know it's kind of like made correctly and it's of a certain vintage and it's not like a cheap knockoff. The other thing you want to look for is this called a hollow grind, where there's a little bit of a concave portion. So when you're flattening the back of this, you don't have to flatten the whole thing, you just have to flatten the edges. So that's really nice. This right here is a fresh piece of white oak, and this is a white oak handle. This is a white oak handle. This is kind of like the color you're looking for, show you that it's appropriately old. That being said, I also have a Buck Brothers chisel here that doesn't have the difference in metal of the tip. It's just one solid piece of metal the whole way through. It's not hollow ground. I still use it a bunch and it works great. So as long as you're sharpening your edge really well and consistently, then you can get a lot of use out of a cheap $20 chisel. You don't have to go this kind of insane route where you hunt and find all these old chisels and have to fix them up and do a bunch of work. That being said, it is fun and they are beautiful. So I love these. All right, last thing before I let you go. What you want to search is vintage Japanese chisels on eBay. Now, avoid things like... Okay, this says rare Japanese chisels, $250. That's way too expensive. I'm sure these are nice. They look like they're pretending to be old. I don't know. I wouldn't trust this one. That's way too much money. Things like this, $220 for 25 of them. Free shipping. That actually seems like a pretty good idea. I bought mine in like 2016. And I think I spent like $18 a piece, give or take. So this actually, if this is gone by the time you see this, it means I bought it. But something like that you want to look for. This says high speed famous steel. That's new. That doesn't matter. I wouldn't get these. Again, I'm sure they're nice. If you have them, they're probably wonderful chisels to work with. But they're very expensive. This is another set that looks really nice. Really nice as in a good deal because they're beat to hell and you're gonna have to work on them. There's 1, 2, 3 that are missing ferrule, so that's kind of annoying. I don't know how you get a new version of that. I'm sure you can search for them. This seems a little expensive. These stickers on the handles make me think these are newer and not quite as old as they're pretending to be. But you can see it's got the hollow grind. Yeah, I mean, those don't seem quite as old, so there's a ton of stuff out there. I would say keep looking, keep searching. It's got old Japanese planes, which are really nice too. Yeah, shit like carved cranes in there. You don't need that. That's BS. This looks like another decent set. So yeah, get out there, search. Usually vintage stores in your area will have old tools. They rarely, at least if you're in the Philadelphia area, that I've noticed have old Japanese tools. But they have old American tools and they work great too. You can apply all these same things I've shown you to an American tool. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to show people what was out there and what was possible. And yeah, happy woodworking. See ya. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next week.